Wolverine. I hear you're quite an animal.
Look who's talking.
Welcome back, ScreenRanters. We're back with some more fan casting funness. Is funness even a word? Did I just make that up? Anyway, this time we're taking aim at X-Men. In particular, the characters from the 2000 classic. For those that are just joining us, we basically pretend that we're casting directors with a big enough budget to attract anyone. We make up two teams of different actors for different eras. Today, we're doing the 1970s, and today, we are going to look at the core group of X-Men and the big bad from the film. 10 points if you can guess the characters before we start. So, grab your black leather bodysuit, and let's get started.
I didn't mean to harm anyone.
Now, why would people have gotten that impression?
We're kicking off with casting Wolverine. Which 70s actor springs to mind when you think of someone who's gruff and mostly angry? That's right, Clint Eastwood. Just look at any photo of Eastwood with facial fuzz. It just screams Logan/James Howlett. By the 70s, Eastwood had mostly made a career as an on-screen cowboy, but then along came Kelly's Heroes and Dirty Harry. Eastwood currently has 4 Oscar wins under his belt, yet none of them are for acting. But he has been nominated for his acting. All the wins are for his directing work. As such, we could even get Eastwood to direct and star in the film, similar to what he did in 1992's Unforgiven. Also, we have a second pick for Logan for one viewer in particular. That would be our editor's mom, and that pick is Fred Ward. On top of his chiseled face, Ward is closer to Wolverine's height, as Ward is around 5'8", since Logan is meant to be 5'3". For the role of Jean Grey, while the actor doesn't have to be a natural redhead, it sure does make our job a tad easier. So with that in mind, we've chosen Diane Keaton. After her performances in the Godfather franchise, Keaton was one of the biggest up-and-comers in the industry. Speaking of the Godfather, we might have another actor from there in the list, stay tuned. And then in 1977, Keaton would win her Oscar due to her role in Annie Hall. After that, Keaton would be nominated for an Academy Award a further 3 times in her career so far. With all those accolades, Keaton is perfect for Jean since the character has the weight of the world on her shoulders also. Only this time it's due to the destructive nature of the Phoenix Force. For Cyclops, aka Scott Summers, we needed someone that looked and often acted like an American Boy Scout, and with that in mind, there was only one actor from the 70s that nailed that description, Robert Redford. By the start of the decade, Redford would have Hollywood at his mercy. After all, he received a lot of praise due to his performance in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. By 1974, Redford received an Oscar nomination for The Sting. He would then be in The Great Gatsby and later in All the President's Men. Much like Eastwood, the Oscar Redford won was down to his directing work, showing a little bit of a rivalry between the actors that may just play out on screen between their characters, very much like the love-hate relationship between Wolverine and Cyclops. We think it's mostly love. Redford has also been in the MCU as the pretty blatant bad guy, Alexander Pierce. For Storm, or Aurora Monroe if you're formal, we've gone with an actor that isn't famous due to her acting ability. Instead, she's often known as a legendary singer. However, she has been Oscar nominated. The actor in question is Diana Ross. All the way back in 1973, the former Supremes member was nominated for her leading role in The Lady Sings the Blues. Besides from being in a couple of TV shows and an uncredited role, this was Ross's first main role in a moving picture. After that, she only appeared in a handful of other films, including the Wizard of Oz spin-off film in 1978, The Wiz. With Ross's star power and her confidence when performing, she would easily become the Weather Witch in the X-Men. Well. That joke will be really unfunny in a minute. When you think of the greatest actors of all time, this chap is usually mentioned in the conversation. After all, he starred in, directed, and wrote the so-called greatest film ever, Citizen Kane. That fella is Orson Welles. Patrick Stewart may have convinced many people that Charles Xavier is British, but he was actually born in New York. So we wanted an American actor with massive screen presence. Thus, we found Welles. By the 70s, Welles was popping up in smaller films, such as 1979's The Muppet Movie and 1972's Treasure Island. As a result, he likely has something to prove during this decade. As such, he would likely put everything into the role of Professor X. Way before Tom Cruise was doing his own stunts in Mission Impossible, there was a TV series of the same name that was on from 1966 to 1973. One of the performers involved in the series was Leslie Ann Warren. If you see a picture of Warren back then, you already know which character she should be. Let's all say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Rogue! No one did it with us, did they? Fine. Anyway, Rogue's real name is Anna Marie. Warren has the name Anne in her name, so obviously that makes them a perfect match. Warren was even nominated for an Oscar for 1983's Victor Victoria. On top of this, she was in the Insidious franchise and was Cinderella in the 1965 film. Plus, she has Marvel experience as she popped up in the TV series Netflix's Daredevil. We already mentioned one of the greatest actors of all time in Orson Welles. The other name that's also on that list is Marlon Brando. Since Brando and Welles never worked together on screen, which is a colossal crazy cinematic crime, ultra alliteration in itself, the 70s X-Men will have the two face off on screen. Brando will be our Magneto. He's made a name for himself being able to play characters with darker sides to them, such as Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather, and so on. He won 2 Oscars in his career and was nominated a further 6 times. The 70s X-Men production team would have to battle DC for Brando's signature on a contract though, as in 1978, Superman was released. It had the legendary actor performing as Jor-El. Now, we have the modern day team. To make it harder on ourselves, we won't have the MCU actors or anyone that's currently in Marvel properties. Yeah, sorry about that, Tom Hardy fans. And sorry, Tom Hardy. Hey, you never know, Hardy may watch Screen Rant. So yeah, we're sorry. And with that in mind, we've gone with Aidan Turner as Wolverine. Turner was probably your mom's favorite actor for a number of years due to his role in the BBC period TV series Poldark. Turner is able to portray a darker side to his characters, as seen when he was the vampire Mitchell in the massively underrated show Being Human, the original UK version. On top of this, he has experience of being in franchises since he was in The Hobbit. Just look at his floppy dark hair and stubble. It's easy to picture Turner with the sideburns, adamantium claws, and the impossible healing factor. Since we've made it harder on ourselves with Marvel actors being taken out of the running, we've gone with a natural redhead again for Jean Grey. This time we have Bryce Dallas Howard. The Golden Globe nominee was even Gwen Stacy all the way back in Spider-Man 3. Everyone remembers the dance. Yeah, we won't bring it up again. Well, anymore. Anyway, it means Howard has experience of being in superhero pictures. From there, she would jump into many franchises, such as Twilight, Terminator, and of course, Jurassic World. We also suspect that Howard may just have telekinetic powers of her own. After all, how does one in heels outrun a T-Rex without falling over? Superpowers, that's the only rational explanation. With her father being Ron Howard, we might even have the possibility of getting him to direct. While with Supernatural coming to an end soon, yeah, plenty of sad, sleepless nights are coming for us shortly. Anyway, this actor will be free to be in the X-Men, at least until he's finished being in The Boys. If that doesn't tell you who we want for Cyclops, we don't know what to tell you. We're chatting about Jensen Ackles. The soon-to-be former Dean Winchester has been the subject for numerous fan art as the leader of the X-Men, such as this great image by Valentin Romero. In the comics, Summers went through a stage of being more intense and being harsher in his pursuit for mutant rights, which some fans have said that he became a villain, but we say Cyclops was right. Anyway, since Ackles is able to portray characters that can dabble in the villain side, like Demon Dean, he would be perfect as darker Cyclops. For the role of Storm, we've gone with an actor that made her name in a very different comic book adaptation, The Walking Dead. We've chosen Sonequa Martin Green. For years, she portrayed Sasha Williams in the Walker show. Martin Green has also been in a number of other high-profile TV series such as Once Upon a Time and The Good Wife. She's currently starring as Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. Due to her resume, Martin Green has plenty of experience in acting shows, which will translate well for this X-Men film. Martin Green will also lend her voice to another comic adaptation. This time, Michael Kirkman's Invincible. Yep, he does more than just walkers. Martin Green is also going to get some experience in a film franchise by being in the reboot Space Jam: A New Legacy, which we're absolutely buzzing for. Rather than choose the Mark Strong, Stanley Tucci's, or Ben Kingsleys of the world, we decided to shave the noggin of the actor we want as Professor X, whether they agree to it or not. Anyway, we've chosen Hugh Laurie. It has nothing to do with our love/obsession for House. Alright, it mostly does, but hey, we can justify it. Xavier went to study at Oxford University. Laurie was born in Oxford. Laurie also studied at Cambridge University, who are a rival to Oxford. Laurie is also a 3-time Golden Globe winner that plays layered characters very well. Not only in-house, there's The Night Manager, Veep, and 2011's The Oranges, among many more. At the moment, Xavier is shown as being enigmatic in the comics with everything going on in Krakoa. As such, Laurie is the ideal choice for the role. Since Rogue was shown as a little younger in the original X-Men film, we needed an actor that could play a younger age compared to the others in this cast. As such, we nominate Kaya Scodelario as tribute. Plus, she was recently cast in the Resident Evil reboot, which isn't why she was chosen for this, but it sure does come in handy for that sweet, sweet SEO. Anywho, Scodelario first rose to fame as Effie in Skins, the original UK version. Afterwards, she would arrive in the Maze Runner franchise as Teresa. Scodelario would then be cast in 2017's Pirates of the Caribbean Salazar's Revenge as Karina Smith. Since she was brought up in Britain, we have no idea if Scodelario could do Rogue's Southern American accent, but that's why they made vocal coaches. In the comics, Magneto/Eric/Max Eisenhart was born in Germany. As such, we wanted to bring in an actor from around the same area to bring the character to life on the big screen, so we selected the Austrian-German actor Christoph Waltz. He's made a career out of winning Oscars in Quentin Tarantino films, both of those coming in Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds. A number of the films Waltz has been in has given him villain experience to aid him for the role as the Master of Magnetism. So you know about Inglourious Basterds and Django, but there's also Spectre and Horrible Bosses 2, to name a couple more examples. Waltz also has experience in comic adaptations, since he was in 2011's Green Hornet, even if he wishes he wasn't. And that's a wrap. Which team was the most enticing, the 70s bunch or today's? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. All those actions really help us out. Finally, thanks for joining us today. See ya.